Inspector Aisha Khan was known in the city not for her rank, but for her unshakable resolve. In a metropolis plagued by organized crime and corruption, many whispered that taking on the gangs was a death sentence. But Aisha walked into danger the way others walked into daylight, without hesitation. It had been a long night at the police station. The city slept restlessly under the shadow of crime syndicates that seemed untouchable. A tip-off had arrived. A notorious gang, the Black Vipers, was planning a major heist targeting the city's largest jewelry expo. Aisha studied the intel, her sharp eyes scanning the photographs of suspects, the GPS coordinates of their hideouts, and the latest reports from undercover officers. Her team looked at her expectantly. "This isn't just another bust," she said, her voice calm but charged with intensity. "If we fail, countless innocents will be in danger. We do this carefully, but we do it thoroughly." The next morning, Aisha went undercover. Disguised as a logistics manager attending the expo, she moved among crowds of people, her senses heightened to detect anything out of the ordinary. Hours passed. Every second felt like a lifetime, and then she noticed it. A man behaving oddly near the storage area, glancing repeatedly at the security cameras. Aisha signaled her team quietly through her earpiece. "Vipers in position. Wait for my mark." The heists began subtly, almost imperceptibly, but Aisha's instincts were sharper than any criminal's planning. As the thieves tried to bypass security systems, she confronted them head-on. "Police, hands where I can see them." Chaos erupted. The gang tried to flee, but Aisha had anticipated escape routes. With her team cutting off every path, the criminals were trapped. She moved with precision, coordinating arrests, securing evidence, and ensuring no bystanders were harmed. Her calm in the storm was astonishing to everyone watching. After the bust, the city celebrated the police operation. But for Aisha, there was no time to revel in success. There were always more shadows to chase, more criminals to stop. She returned to the station, reviewing files, planning her next move. Days later, she received another tip. A syndicate involved in drug trafficking was exploiting the city's docks. Without wasting a moment, Aisha led a dawn raid. Under the pale morning light, her team moved silently, breaching warehouses and securing illegal shipments. The criminals resisted, but they underestimated Aisha. She anticipated their every move, her years of training and street intelligence guiding her through the operation flawlessly. Yet, it wasn't just about arrests and seizures. Aisha believed in justice that extended beyond the courtroom. She often met with community leaders, educating youth, mentoring them away from a life of crime, and ensuring witnesses felt safe to testify. Her fight wasn't just physical, it was moral and social. One night, after a particularly exhausting week, Aisha stood on the rooftop of her precinct, overlooking the city lights. The streets glimmered like a million stars, but she knew each light masked stories of struggle and danger. A soft voice came behind her. It was her colleague, Samir. "You ever rest?" he asked, half smiling. Aisha shook her head. "Rest comes when the city sleeps safely. Until then, the shadows never disappear." Weeks later, the city faced a coordinated attack by multiple criminal factions. Aisha's network of informants had warned her in advance. She orchestrated a series of operations, simultaneous raids targeting the syndicate's leaders. The operations were risky. One wrong move could cost lives, but her strategy was meticulous, combining intelligence, technology, and sheer courage. By nightfall, the gangs were dismantled. The city's underworld felt the firm hand of justice. Newspapers hailed the unseen heroine who had restored a measure of peace to the streets. But for Aisha, there was no time to revel in success. There were always more shadows to chase, more criminals to stop. She returned to the station, reviewing files, planning her next move. In the quiet moments, she reflected on why she fought. It wasn't about recognition or glory, it was about the children playing safely in parks, the families walking freely in marketplaces, and ordinary citizens who believed in the law because she was willing to enforce it without compromise. As she prepared for another day, Aisha knew her battle was endless. Crime would always evolve, always find new ways to threaten the city, but she was ready. Her courage, intelligence, and unbreakable spirit made her more than a police officer. She was a symbol that even in the darkest corners of society, justice could shine. And so, Inspector Aisha Khan walked through the city streets once more, vigilant and unyielding, a guardian who dared to face the shadows when others ran from them.